Yeah, this week you were emailing me a lot, and I was learning a lot about the state committee races and all the Republican bylaws. And I guess up in where next to Boston, they had a caucus this weekend that didn't go as planned. Can you give us a little backstory about that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So the Mass GOP scheduled 4 caucuses throughout the state, and these were good because we want to fill some of the vacant state committee seats. So I myself was looking forward to these caucuses to fill state committee seats so we could start building the Republican Party. And this state committee caucus pretty much went off the rails right from the beginning. So one of the concerns with having this caucus in the past was that there was a lot of dispute about the RTC members, who was a member, who was not. But anyway, so this caucus was scheduled for the First Suffolk district, which is mostly parts of the Dorchester area. And what happened was there was, you know, the there was a mailer that was sent out. So there was two uh, people backed by Baker that were selected to kind of run in this caucus. And because Dorchester has a big Vietnamese community, they sent out these mailers that was kind of pandering to the Vietnamese community. It was all in it was all in like Vietnamese language. They put some flags on it, but they didn't really do any. They have no idea of any of the history behind like Vietnam or any people in the community. So they sent out these mailers that had the communist flag, which is what most of the people in Vietnam fled from because of the communist oppression there. So they sent out these mailers with the communist flag on it. Obviously, the people receiving this mailer were highly offended. This is one of the most offensive mailers that you can imagine. So they were really upset about it. They responded back that they didn't want any part of the state committee caucus, which this was selected as the Vietnamese Senior Center was selected as a venue for this caucus. So they said they wanted nothing to do with it. And it pretty much just left the Mass GOP scrambling to find a new location. If you look at the Mass GOP bylaws, this is a clear violation. You have to send written notice of the time and location of the event 15 days beforehand. So they changed the venue literally within 24 hours of the state committee vote, and the whole thing was just like a complete
Complete
crap show
mess.
from the start.
Well, that's I know we talk a lot about the GOP, and it always seems like we're picking on the current people who are running it, Amy Carnivale and things like that. But I hope through this show and through our discussions, right, like we're fair with everybody, and we just say, hey, we have to be better. Like as politicians, we have to be better. Like you said, we're pandering. So on our screen right now, for people that don't know, is this is the letter that was sent out. Um, what you're seeing right there is at the top is a communist flag with the American flag, and they're like, "Hey, this is great." Now, for people that don't know, because I didn't know, right? I'm gonna show you. This is what their flag looks like currently. Well, the flag that they want to represent them before they were taken over by communist China. So going back to this, I just think we have to do better, right? Like we're sitting here and it was amazing to me. We have laws, we have bylaws in place as the GOP saying that there's time frames, things need to be done. There's procedures in place to run these caucuses, but those aren't followed, right? So when we start acting like Democrats, when we stop acting like politicians that don't follow the laws, and there's this like two-tiered justice system, people get disillusioned. People don't want to participate. People say, "What's the point?" So that yes, I understand the people in charge want their people to be put in place, but you have to go through the right process. And if you lose, you lose.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this was a complete missed opportunity, I think, for the Mass GOP because there's such a big population, big Vietnamese community in Dorchester, and this would have been a perfect opportunity to reach out and say, hey, we want to include you as part of the Mass GOP. We want to recruit you into the party. We want to help you build. We want you to help out, like reach out to folks in the community to help build this party. But what they did was pretty much the complete opposite. They said, no, all we really care about, like, we don't care about you, we don't care about anyone else. All we care about is controlling the state committee and controlling the Mass GOP, so we can work with the Democrats. So we can jockey for these leadership positions in the House and the state legislature. So again, it's really just more about controlling the party and more nepotism. But they really missed an opportunity to really reach out to the Vietnamese community and really start building the Mass GOP from the ground up.
Well, you said it right. They're when you said it in the beginning, they sent this mailer out, tried getting the language right, tried being like, "Hey, we're here for you," only to turn around and do what was in their best interest. So the message that you were trying to get, you just burnt bridges for I don't know how long. So how do politicians that come by and want to do the right thing and like, "Hey, I'm going to do the right thing and I want to do the right thing," and they're like, you just sat there, sent out a mailer saying, "Hey, look, we support you. We want to do all this stuff." But you don't even follow your rules because you want to put your people in place. So what I have up right now is you found the video, and one of the bylaws states that it's supposed to be a secret vote for this, right? So the woman that they want to pick, she got up and talked, and it was funny because I'm like, why did you send me this video when you first saw it? Because I would have thought there would have been some discussion. I would have thought there would have been some more people coming up, or there would have been like these meetings and people talking. This doesn't even show like there was any real effort to have an open and honest dialogue or discussion to pick somebody. This woman gets up, and there might have been people before her, but the woman gets up, says her speech, and then they're like, "Let's vote." Now the vote is supposed to be private, so let's see what happens.
Entertain a motion to vote by acclamation.
Motion.
Second? Thank you. All in favor of Dr. Heinz Perrick, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, I declare Dr.
So I don't know if people could hear that too well. I'm sorry, the volume might have been low, but it was a voice vote. All in favor say aye. All not in favor say no. There was no no's. The ayes have it. That's not how it's supposed to go. And if we're not doing that right, what other shortcuts are we going to take? What other avenues are we going to skip just to get what we want? That doesn't prove to me that we're doing what's in the best for our constituents, or we're trying to do what's in the best for our constituents. What it tells me is they want what they want, you be damned. But every time it's an election season, we're going to be like, "We're here for you." Well, if you're here for me, then do the things the way they're supposed to be done. And again, I will say it to any faction of the Republican Party, because what I'm seeing now as a candidate, when I was a candidate, as not a candidate now, but who's thinking to run and still talk to people who ask if I'm going to run, they're getting so sick of state level politics that they're like this: "I'm going to support the candidate, screw the GOP." That's not the position the GOP wants to be in going to 2024. Right? And if people don't see that soon, we're going to be in big trouble. We're going to be in very big trouble. So that's why, like I said, that's why I harp on these things. I attack these things. We sit there and we say we listen to our people. We're all about, Republicans. We're all about individualism and listening to our people. But we don't. We're just as bad as Democrats. And that's why people call people rhinos. It's just crazy. So I don't know what your final thoughts on this are.
Yeah, it's pretty ironic. You have the state committee candidates sent out this communist flag to people in an attempt to pander, and it's like this caucus was run pretty much out of the communist playbook. It's like every single, if you look at the Mass GOP bylaws, almost every single bylaw around the state committee caucus was violated in this vote. So they changed the location 24 hours beforehand. They didn't notify. They didn't give the proper notification to everyone. Then they proceeded with a vote by acclamation, which is like you said, a voice vote, as opposed to in the Mass GOP bylaws it says it's supposed to be by secret ballot, which I have issues with secret ballots, but that's how it's written in the bylaw.
Correct.
So this whole thing up and down was like pretty much straight out of a communist playbook, which is it's pretty sad to see out of the Massachusetts Republican Party, and it confirms the point that you have 60% of voters are unenrolled, and a lot of those voters want nothing to do with the Republican Party in Massachusetts, and you can clearly see why after a caucus like this.
Yeah, the disenfranchised. I think one of the good things, and you saw it with the Carrie Lake incident. I know it's kind of national, and not only that, when they were picking the new head of the GOP, and was that Mahit Dillon? What's her name? Dillon?
Carmeet Dillon.
Carmeet Dillon. That's it. When she was running and she lost, and most people in America said, we're done supporting the GOP. They don't want to listen to our voice. We're going to support candidates that we want. So I think the GOP is really going to start paying attention, because if any party is going to hold their elected officials feet to the fire, it's going to be the GOPs. We know the Democrats aren't going to do that. They all just come together, and no matter who they put up, they just fall behind. So